Well, right now we can tell you opponents of the controversial Atlanta Public Safety Training Center are taking their next steps in the fight against that project. Thanks for being here. I'm Rob Hughes.
And I'm Joy Lim-Nakrin. Atlanta News First reporter Megan Packer is live now at City Hall. And Megan, activists made an announcement within just the past 2 hours, I understand, right?
Right, Joy and Rob, they want to see this issue on the ballot for voters to weigh in on. They've laid out the steps that they will take to make it happen, even giving an example of, they say, a success story elsewhere in the state. This comes after the city council just yesterday here voted to approve a funding package for that project. But opponents say this is not something the majority of Atlantans want to see.
I have in my hands the approved petition form. We're going to be turning in a whole lot of these.
People opposed to the Atlanta Public Safety Training Facility are not backing down in their fight against the controversial project. A little more than 24 hours after a marathon city council meeting that involved nearly 14 hours of public comment and the council voting yes to funding, this group says they're not done.
The people need to have a voice in whether or not there is a cop city. The city council has failed over and over again.
They filed the paperwork to start the process of calling for a ballot initiative to stop the project and will now work to get more than 70,000 signatures to get a referendum put on the November ballot. In the early morning hours Tuesday, the city council voted 11-4 to approve a funding package that could cost Atlanta taxpayers as much as $67 million. Supporters say the facility is desperately needed to train police officers and firefighters who serve the community. But opponents say it's not what the majority wants.
We will do whatever we need to do to make sure the will of the people is the direction in which Atlanta is going.
And I reached out to the Atlanta mayor's office today asking if they have a comment about this latest step. They tell me they are looking into it. But just yesterday, Mayor Andre Dickens was praising the approval vote that the city council gave the funding project. Now, in the meantime, construction out there at that site is supposed to start in August. But the group that we heard from today, the opponents, say they plan to file an injunction to stop that construction. We are live outside of City Hall. I'm Megan Packer, Atlanta News First.